Hey there, thank you for watching and welcome to Forged Alliance Forever. Today I have a 5v5 custom match on the map Serenity Reef. Let's go ahead and introduce our players so we can get on to the action. For Team 1 here in this northeastern section, we have CZ XXX going first air as a Cybern in dark gray. To his north, we have Camp Keeks 500 going first air as a UEF in blue. Down here on the main land slot, we have Kiewit Storm as a Seraphim going first land in lime green. To his north, we have George Mosquito going first air in hot pink as a UEF. And last but not least for Team 1, we have Brain Salad going first air as a Seraphim in red. Let's go ahead and introduce Team 2. In the main air slot for Team 2, we have Kruger PDM going first air as a UEF in teal. Next to him, we have Peanuts going first land, second air in orange as a UEF. South of him, we have Dreckard going first land as a Seraphim in in regular green. And the main land slot for Team 2, we have Sleepless Kind going first land in navy blue as a Seraphim. And last but not least, in the back line, another Seraphim. We have Han Solo, most likely a fan of Star Wars. I mean, with a name like that, it's pretty much assumed that he is. Going first land, second air, again as a Seraphim in royal purple. So the makeup in terms of factions for both teams, for Team 1 we have 2 Seraphim, 2 UEF, and a Cybern, so they are missing the Aeon tech in their toolbox. And for Team 2 we have 1 Aeon, 2 Seraphim, a UEF, and an Aeon. So all of the races represented, all of the tools in the toolbox for Team 2. Serenity Reef is a 20 by 20 map. We're getting some early air scouts and interceptors out for the air players. ACUs are starting to move to the center section. There is 9 mass extractors here, 5 of which on this northwestern side of the land, and then obviously the 4 over here. There are a couple other islands dotted and 2 major islands on the north and south corners of the map, but again, a lot of the mass is going to be generated. There aren't a whole lot of mass deposits, reclaimed deposits here on the map. There's probably about, I'd say 4,000 roughly in the center here, but you have pockets of, you know, like 400, 150, 100. There's not a whole lot of mass to be scooped up early on, so a lot of our players are going to be focusing on generated eco. We have a transport out from the blue commander of camp looking to get a deposit of engineers onto that main island in the north, and it will drop. It's going into the it's in the yellow. It does drop, so that it will be a successful land claim. We have a counter drop out from the comm of Peanuts, but it looks like the interceptor is already on its tail, doing a decent amount of damage, staying behind the transport, not letting it get behind that interceptor, and it does go down. So that northern island will pretty much be claimed for Team 1, especially with another transport out from another player as well. We have a transport out from the dark purple player of Han Solo looking to grab this southern island. We also have a transport of Team 1 engineers from Dreckard, which is going back for some reason. I don't know what that's about. It could have maybe waiting for a bomber, but you feel like you would land them first. Anyway, there is another transport out from George Mosquito trying to get a land presence established. 1 engineer is not going to do a whole lot versus the 6 engineers that are already down for Han Solo. Again, this map is very interesting because the main air slots are going to be the closest to each other, and they're on this high hillside, so a lot of the fire from the Navy is not really going to be able to hit it. Maybe some cruiser missiles from the UEF and Seraphim, but that's really about it. And maybe some long-range shots from some summits or battleships. But again, these areas are going to be pretty well defended. You're going to see SMD built up here, protect a large section of their team's main bases. We do have some combat here going down in the south. 2 comms out from Team 2 are starting to secure this central section. We do have the comm of Storm kind of in the back line, getting a fire base started, up and running, production being built. T2 already underway. He wants to get some defenses up as well as some extra hit points. We do have Navy again, lots of ocean, lots of water, lots of boat, as some people may call it. Gun speed and range going down for the comm of Dreckard, making sure that they can deal lots and lots of damage to incoming T1 units. Comm of Sleepless going for a T1 PD, focusing on making sure there's no accidental run-bys over here on this northern section while the buildup is happening. We have some early kind of spilling out of units. This possible run-by on the cards, gotten all the way back almost to the main base of the line player of Storm. However, these moles do stop. These scouts stop right before the main base, and there is a tank going to deal some deathly blows to these scouts. So Mantis have made it all the way back, but again, as of right now, this is the main production yard, so expect to see reinforcements constantly being produced. Does get an engineer kill, but 2v1 against this, Mantis is going to win out. 2 more arrive. But again, they're deep in enemy territory. Reinforcements come very quickly. Do take out one of the tanks, but it doesn't look like they're going to do much of any damage. There is a T1 bomber out doing some early damage. Takes out an engineer, deals some damage to the factories, but again, not a lot of damage. Won't be able to take out those factories unless they have more and more firepower. T2 going underway for Sleepless as well. Looks like Storm is done with that upgrade and might start be establishing maybe T2 PD here to kind of section off this alleyway, as well as he has units on this other alleyway preventing a possible run-by. We have a transport out from Sleepless kind, maybe starting to do a drop kind of in this direction, maybe go around, but interceptors do catch wind, and that transport will go down, and that is going to be a loss for Sleepless kind. Looks like, yes, he is going for that T2 PD creep and getting it right in front of this reclaim. Very effective, making sure he gets that for himself, not allowing enemy units to come and try to claim that. Mantis do primary this T2 PD, and it is going to go down pretty much without any incident. And it was targeting this T2 PD of the Cerberus, and the Cerberus does come online. And unfortunately for Storm, this is not going to go well. Pretty much a mass dump and a loss of mass for him, and he has to push back, maybe establish a different front line. But it looks like the comm of Dreckard is going to keep moving forward, and Storm is asking for help in chat, so we'll have to see if his teammates come to his rescue. And that T2 PD does come online, but the damage from that upgraded comm is enough to outpace the reconstructive efforts of the engineers, and that PD goes down again. Storm doing another build, but again, I guess at this point either run or stand your ground, because it's not really going to matter. You have a gun comm and you have another comm in the back line. It's not looking good. You're just wasting mass at this point. Overcharges are going back and forth. The damage is going down for both players. However, Dreckard is definitely healthier than Hewitt Storm. Well, I mean, it's roughly same hit points because of that T2 upgrade. But he is going into the water. That is going to be a loss, and allowing Team 2 to secure the central position quite nicely. We have some T1 Navy kind of positioning off of the coast here. They don't have a whole lot of range on those guns, so they'll probably be able to take out these 2 mass points, but that's really about it. Maybe this one over here, but again, early aggression, not a whole lot of lasting damage. We have a fight for down here on the southern island. It's just engineers fighting. I guess they were fighting. That is actually all Team 2, so I will apologize for that, because I thought it was the other player, but that's a different color. So Team 2 is in hold of the southeastern island as well as the middle, so they're going to have the advantage in the mass point game and generated eco here pretty shortly. If they don't, Team 1 does have control of the northern island, unfortunately, for Team 2. So out of 2 of the 3, I'd say major lanes, air quotes, Team 2 is in control of 2 of the 3 of them. I like this radar systems on both of these islands. They don't provide a whole lot of range, but they do enough. This one particularly covers pretty much the entire approach from this center causeway. Very effective placement. It is most likely going to be taken out by these T1 frigates, but it will at least give Team 2 some notice of incoming units. We have a missile launcher launching some missiles onto the main base of Storm, going after resourcing options, taking out, ooh, that was a good one. That was on an upgrade. Takes out some engineers as well. Getting some defenses online is very smart. There is a defense right here as well. We do have the comm of George moved up to the front to help assist Storm. And the main battle line has now moved from here to here. It's a smaller choke point in terms of landmass, so a narrower field of fire and movement, especially for later on when you have bigger units and the need to spread out a little more. But for Team 1, they're kind of small, so they don't need a lot of space. Trying to establish a defensive line, but Team 2 is constantly pushing and pushing Team 1 back and back. Would like to see maybe a defensive line kind of built here as a fallback position, just in case this gets overwhelmed, because it's starting to go in that direction. We have 2 T2PD as well as a T1 that just fell, and 2 comms. So I mean, there's a decent amount of defenses, but if Team 2 really wants to, they could push with both comms all the way. There is another comm in the back line just hanging out. Again, I would like to see maybe at least some T2PD, some sort of defensive line in the back line to help support his frontline teammates. I was gonna say, I hear torpedo bombers somewhere. Torpedo bombers being used to start whittling down the forces in the northern pond, or northern section, I guess, for Team 1. T1 factory pumping out naval units left and right, getting a decent amount of frigates online. T2 naval factory has been completed for the hot pink player of George, and he's going for, I think those are destroyers. We'll have to check back to see. Again, I'm still getting used to the images of the units. Some images are easier than others. Yes, that's Valiant class destroyers. Already has one on the field. Nice, decent range. You can see that they can reach all the way to here, and even if they get moved closer, they can get pretty much cover the entire central causeway. So very good getting those units out. Would like to see again some cruisers. We have some torpedo boats out. The frigates are armed with torpedoes as well, and they deal lots of damage to those T1 subs. So I think they're prioritizing the destroyer. We do have some torpedo boats out from the back line. Commander of Peanuts going after that destroyer. Very good move, taking out the heavy damage, as well as Drecker coming onto the beach saying, no. No soup for you. No. And we have the comm of Mosquito getting primaried by some Corsairs, dropping down sub 6,000, sub 5,000, standing strong, saying, you will not defeat me. Needs to get a shield up, needs to move, needs to start dodging. Sub 4,000. This might be the first death of the game. Sub 1,000. Boom. And that was the lowest player on Team 1. It is now a 5v4 in favor of Team 2. We had a little thing. Oh, I guess kill quick, please. Okay, I guess their teammates are talking. It was happening pretty much as the comm was dying. So making sure that the Corsairs were primaried onto that comm. We have, again, T2 destroyers online for the orange player of Peanuts. Starting to move those further out, looking to get some support. We also have, again, a couple supporting units as well. Let's look at ecos very quick. We're at 480, 470 to 460. So even though Team 2 has more of the land mass, Team 1 is upgrading more and more mechs. So the generated eco is starting to favor their side, but given enough time, Team 2 should out-eco them, at least in the generated. And it is starting to catch up, but again, that's also reclaim related, most likely. So, again, mass does fluctuate, given if you're stalling energy or whatnot, so just be aware the totals are not always accurate and not stable all the time. Again, this is a custom match. You can see by the numbers being rounded off. The lowest player that is in the game has been eliminated, with the highest players being Storm, as well as Camp, Fleeks. I think I'm saying their name right. The Team 1 is more of the extreme, while Team 2 is more of the middle ground average, staying between 1200 and 1500 versus the 1000 to 1800. We have a Corsair, we have a cruiser out from the blue commander of Camp as well, taking out these air scouts. Very good placement, shelling the islands here. There aren't any defenses here. All three of those mass points are down. The island up here to the north is under siege by Team 2's forces from the orange player Peanuts. That is his main focus here, is the naval game in the northern section with some air, because as the naval player you do want some torpedo bombers to help assist the naval game. So it's not strictly navy, it's not strictly air, it's kind of a hybrid of the two. Looks like we have the comm of Han Solo pretty much going for eco for the most part, which is a good move, getting up that eco, getting up the resources to start mass producing whatever the game needs him to. Taking out that missile launcher. We do have some missile defense in the area. We'd like to see probably at least one more, because one more set of missiles at a time will pretty much overwhelm. We have the transport out, moving the comm of Drecked back, and we also have a transport out helping to support the front line. Oh, and that does get taken out. It just clipped the range of that cruiser, and it does go down. That must be a hard loss for him. We have some destroyers, counter intel boats, and a cruiser. Good mix of units. We're also getting a T2 torpedo launcher behind them. We have forces out from Storm looking to try to dissuade these naval forces. Just by sheer numbers, Team 2 definitely have it, especially with this torpedo launcher. It's going to do a decent amount of damage to that destroyer. All of those torpedoes being shot out, dropping the hit points pretty low. We have the main land battle here in the middle causeway. Structures being down, all of those defensive line is being destroyed. Again, had they had something built up here, they could easily fall back to. So if they don't get support here on this center line, a lot of the base down here, and now they're being built up. They're getting built up pretty quick, to be fair, but you could have already had that in place earlier and not have to rush about it. That front line of Team 1 constantly being pushed back and back. We have some Janus out, very effective at taking out T1 units. They're very weak, and this lingering damage does deal a lot of damage, especially when trying to retreat. Corsairs. Cruisers. I keep saying cruisers or Corsairs. Cruisers. Yeah. Starting to take out some of the auxiliary air units. T3 air has been achieved for the red player of a Brain Salad. We have a similar situation going on here in the south. We do have T3 air. ASFs are starting to be produced. I think those are ASF. Yeah, those are ASF. As well as the teal player is not at T3. Oh, yep, there it is. He's hiding. And we have T3 air, so we have 3 players on Team 2 going for air. As well as, I wouldn't be surprised if he went air as well. But again, looks like Team 1's kind of on the back foot, at least in the central game. We have the Salem is walking across the water, being like, I want to join my friends over here. Probably targeting that cruiser. But it looks like these Ilshis are starting to catch up to this Salem. That might not be good for this Salem. But the naval units here on the eastern side are now in range and deal some blows onto those Ilshis. And more units starting to appear for both teams, starting to get a decent amount of units, allowing some nice good fights. The shield boats being used by both teams, very effective units out from the UEF. Again, the UEF probably have one of the best spread of ships. They don't have the the T3 missile boat. They don't have the T3 attack subs. They don't have the Salems that can walk across land, but they have shield boats. They have a nice cruiser. They have the battle cruisers, the T3 ones, very effective against T1 and T2. So again, I think the US has the best, the UEF has the best all-around naval force, but again, there are specialized forces of, you know, maybe full missiles for Aeon, or just full damage and maneuverability for the Cybran. So again, you just have to play into your faction's strengths and try to minimize the weaknesses. That Salem does go down. Didn't really get a whole lot of work, unfortunately, due to this naval presence here. But the orange player, Peanuts, is moving in to try to either dissuade them or get them off. And again, that Salem going down. We are at 20 minutes, and if you've been enjoying the video so far, please like and comment down below. And of course, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. We are, as of right now, 11 away from 100. I'm super impressed by all of the support, the comments, everything. Again, I'm just so very thankful. We have a missile launcher on the cards, under construction for the Dark Gray player of CZ, as well as an anti-nuke missile launcher as well, at SMD, as they are colloquially called. We have more and more combat here going down in the Navy. The land is kind of just forfeit because navies of both teams are just in a position to take anything and everything out. So more focus on Navy for both players here and both teams. We have some T3 Autumn siege bots under the water, kind of hanging out. They do have, I think they have onboard torpedoes as well, so they aren't defenseless in the water. So a nice surprise. And when they came on land, lots of hit points and lots of damage going down for those tanks. And lots of action going down, like I said, over here on this eastern side. Team 2 is pretty far forward. The only issue with that I have is that if those forces die, a lot of that reclaim is going to Team 1. And as you can see, a lot of reclaim starting to be built up here on this northern side. And that's pretty much in the hands of Team 1. That is the benefit of being attacked, is you most likely will get the reclaim at the end of the fight. 2 wings of torpedo bombers move to strike, and then there are a couple cruisers and a shield boat, so it won't be a total victory in the air game, at least for the torpedo bombers. But you could at least try to take out the air defenses and then come in with another wing of torpedo bombers, but maybe they have a better plan that I don't know of. We have direct fire weapons out from the Seraphim. They hardly ever miss. As I mentioned in previous casts, these are submersible as well, so they can avoid the damage from enemy ships. The only downside is they can't use their laser weapons, or that'd be very OP. Though again, there always is a downside to a tech advantage, whether it'd be the Salems walking on water, but they're slower, but they can walk on land, or the Seraphim destroyers submerging, but they can't use their main guns. There is a give and take. Storm being shelled from the Navy. Looks like they're prioritizing that T2 land headquarters. Good move, taking out the tech, preventing him from bringing out more and more of those T2 units, those Ilshis and the like. And that does look like it is going to down. 2 siege tanks, starting to prioritize the comm, dropping it below 5,000 or 4,000. It's going to be close. Storm might have this. He needs to keep moving. You need to keep moving. You can't stop. Drop him below 1,000. Couple more shots. Couple more shots. Siege tank. Changes targets. Change targets. Oh, that's going to be close. Sub 200 hit points for Storm, and he survives just because that siege tank does not prioritize him. That was very close to another death. He's probably distracted by the Navy game as well. So, just to point out, if you're the one attacking and you're noticing you're kind of close to taking out the comm, just go for it, because you might get it. We have some Notha fighter bombers out from Team 2. Looks like they're circling back around. They saw that the comm was almost killed. They had a chance, and he does go down. A fighter bomber does go able to drop its bomb out of the side slot and kills the comm of Storm. That must be a tough break. Almost getting killed and then thinking you're safe, trying to walk back, and then ends up getting killed anyways. That must be a tough break. So now it is a 3v5, Team 1 versus Team 2, with Team 2 up 2 men to just up 2 men. All of their players are still alive. We're at the 25-minute mark almost. Let's check back on that SML, a strategic missile launcher. It is done. The missile's about half loaded, a little under half. A monkey load has been started as well, getting those early T4 units. Getting some shields up finally. Very good move, getting some T2 point defense as well, making sure that they have plenty of defenses for incoming fire from Team 2. You have to establish a priority, like a primary defense line and a secondary defense line, just in case that primary defense line falls. Because if you walk back and you don't have anything defending you, it might not be good for you. It just might not. So just, again, I know that does take resources, that takes APM, that takes time, and sometimes it's easier to do than others, but you gotta play risk and reward here. Again, a lot of these games, especially RTSs, are about what do I risk and what can I get out of it? What can I get out of that risk? T3 factory has now been completed and is almost destroyed. We do have a battle cruiser out helping to defend against incoming boats, but the rest of those torpedoes are landing into the water. It's gonna be close, and a lot of these engineers are prioritizing the repairing, not the assisting. It's a very good move there. You can change the command. We do have T3 battle cruisers for Peanuts as well. You could have easily sent both of those in and stopped the production of that battleship, but unfortunately, now that that's now finished being under construction, it's going to be able to force these units back. So that is definitely a misplay out from Peanuts. The shelling of the land has begun, or at least continuing. A lot of the core mass is being taken out from once was Storm's base. We have T3 battle cruisers out, those direct fire weapons pretty much never missing, dealing massive amounts of damage. There's multiple guns on that thing, so almost constant firing going out of those guns. We have 3 players in the naval game here on the eastern side, whereas we have 1 player and some air support out for the northern side. And this is the priority line for Team 2 to push, considering they have multiple players focusing their units down here. We have 2 experimentals on the front line for Team 1, so this will help with any land invasions. We do have these destroyers taking some pot shots, but they are close enough to the experimentals to take some shots, and they are going to go down, helping alleviate this I want to say north because it is kind of on the northern section, but the east side of Team 1's main base and production line. ASF balls starting to be built up more and more ASFs, again grouping around this experimental. Han Solo could move his air forces over, take them out and leave. He'd lose some, but he'd most likely take out most of them. And again, he's producing them as well. A teleporter, that's pretty early to get, especially for a Cyberan. He's going for teleporter first. He might go for laser next. Usually if you go one, you go the other. 94% of the time. That laser weapon is very effective, that Mazer. And that missile is loaded, so there's a missile in the clip. They have a defensive and anti-nuke missile in the clip as well. They are prioritizing missile production as well as, again, ASFs. So I wouldn't be surprised to see this launched pretty quickly. And there are strat bombers being built up as well. 8 strat bombers. Maybe going for an attack on the main base of the other air player of Prugel. He is starting to get somewhat of an air grid up and running. ASF's also been built for him as well. Air fight going down. Looks like the Royal Purple player of Han Solo was able to take out most of those ASFs and help alleviate the air dominance here in the middle for Team 1. And that experimental chicken bot is under half health. It will do a decent number to this base. It might kill everything here. There's only a couple T2 PD and then they're all gone. So that doesn't last very long. Some T3 strat bombers coming in, dealing a decent amount of damage. About one of the bombs does miss. I'd say probably 3 more bombs would kill it. ASFs for both air players out from Team 2, hovering over that experimental. Strat bomber landing. Takes a decent amount of hit points, takes a decent amount of hit points again. Sub 11,000. We have the battle cruisers doing lots of work here for Team 1. Even the Calm of Restless is being pushed all the way back. Another strat bomber lands. Another strat bomber lands. It did get a rank in vet, so its hit points are repping up quite quickly, as well as, again, it got a boost to hit points as well. It is dropping under 8,000. Bomb lands, subs 5,000. Sub 2,000. One more bomb ought to do it. It did get underneath the water, so I wouldn't be surprised if that just ends up sitting there. They could try to ground fire it, but looks like, oh, that is very disappointing. There was a Monkey Lord almost completed for Sleepless Kind. That is definitely disappointing. We have the sub hunters probably going to target the rest of these forces. So Team 1 making a heavy inroads on this eastern side, pushing back that main line pretty much all the way back to the middle and taking out the main fire base of Team 2 as well. So all those mass points are down. Team 2 still holds the island here in the south, and they do have a battleship now completed. They're being left alone here. When you leave players alone long enough, funny things start to happen. Another teleporter underway for the Seraphim commander. We do have that Monkey Lord we saw quite earlier, making a play all the way down the center causeway, and it's done a decent number on the mass here. Lots of strat bombers coming in over the top to take out all those hit points and kill it. It is going to breach some of the shields, but I don't think it's going to get very far, and it does go down. I'd say that was a good use of the Monkey Lord. Takes out 6 mass points, but that is a mass dump. It is a give and take. I think more damage would have made this worth it. It looks like it kind of just took a shortcut this way. It would have been better maybe taking out more of the mass points and then dipping under, maybe even taking out the T3 HQ. But there is another chicken bot on the middle causeway. It's getting shot by a bunch of strat bombers. They do peel off for some reason, maybe thinking about some ASF countering. But yeah, those hit points just being shredded by all of those bombs being released from their respective slots in their bombers. I think there's a technical term for it, but I think they're just called slots. I don't know. Anyway, in lots of damage going down. I think it's about 3,000 damage per bomb. 2,500 roughly. It's still a decent amount of damage, and that does go down. And that ion stone will do nothing unless those strat bombers just decide to... Oh, never mind. They thought better of it. Laser now underway for Sleepless Kind. Laser on the way for Han Solo. So 2 comms going for Laser. He already has the teleporter. Would not be surprised to see a telesnipe on the cards for Team 2. Looking to go for the assassination objective for this game. That's always on the cards, but with full share it's kind of hard because you're giving more resources and more infrastructure to one player. We have a bunch of strat bombers built up. We have 21. That's blackjack for you folks. They are starting to be built up. Looks like we had some incursion over here on the north, some siege tanks. Looks like they tried to hide in the water, but these T3 sub hunters are going to take them out. That nuke is still loaded. There's 2 nukes. There's 2 nukes that are loaded, and none of them have been shot yet. I'm assuming what's happening is that he's waiting for the strat bombers to take out maybe the SMDs for Team 2 and just do a carpet bombing run. We do have the SMD. It's in a really good slot. As you can see, it's kind of hard to hit it. You pretty much have to come at it from a southeast or northwest direction. Because if they come in this way, the bombs are going to impact either on this rock or on this rock. So coming in from either this direction or this direction would be very optimal. And again, it looks like CZ is aware of that and is moving his forces in to do a nice turn. And just like I said, coming in to take out that SMD. Very good planning. Must have had a lot of intel for that. Impacts the shield, takes out the SMD. ASFs are too late. Do they go after something else? Yes, they do. They go after the mass options for the orange player Peanuts. Breaks the shield. Takes out decent amount of that core mass as well as the mass fabricators. And they fly off into the sunset. And do they make another pass? More ASFs taking out more of these strat bombers. There's about a handful left, about 7 left. They're coming for another third pass. With the comm, I have a RASCOM, that's not a comm. Take out the rest of that core mass. That's very, it's very hard for Team 2 to take. There is another strategic missile launcher in the clip for Team 2, and that nuke does get launched, and it is going to land. Probably going to prioritize the nuke. That's what I would do. And it looks like it's right over the target. It's probably going to clip it just barely. There goes the nuke. Oh, that sucks for the teal player of PDM. He had a nuke in the clip, and Druker control Ks. I don't know if that's an actual control K or a kill. I don't know where his comm was. I do apologize. We have another launch, that other one in the clip. Takes out all of that infrastructure out for PDM. That must hurt, especially with two mass core mass sections pretty much obliterated. Another one going down. Looks like it's going for the main base of Sleepless Kid. There is a experimental built in the main base. It hasn't just got the orders to move. Is it going to land here? It is. I mean, I probably would have gone for the Dark Purple's base, but there is an SMD in the back unloaded. And that entire base pretty much is gone. Just evaporated, irradiated. None of it exists anymore. So 2 massive holes and a decent section torn out of 3 players' bases for Team 2. And Team 1 is pretty much back in it. A player is dead. 2 players are pretty much inoperable. So, I mean, they are definitely, the pendulum is swinging back in their favor. Map control is starting to favor them a little more and more. Would have liked to see some effort. CZ control Ks. Oh, I must have missed it. The Sleepless Kind teleported in and took him out with the telemaser comm. You need to teleport out like right now. Stop moving. Stop moving and teleport. He's 5 vet, so he has all the hit points he can get. Going after more energy, going after more mass. Being chased down by some RASCOMs is dealing a decent amount of damage to him. That's more and more mass being killed. Okay, teleport out now. You don't have a lot of time. Stop and teleport. Just stop and teleport. You're gonna die. I can bet you're gonna die. All of that T1 bomber spam is going to just hurt you. Maybe he knows it's a suicide mission, but he could have easily gone out by now. Teleported in and killed the common left. That's very, I don't know why the laser isn't hitting those P-gens. There it goes. Takes out a lot of the rest of those P-gens. There's 1 left standing, and he has to teleport now or he's dead. And he's not moving. He's just going to kill the whole base. Which, I mean, good on him, but you're going to die. You're going to make it a 3v3, and your base is in tatters, so you're not giving a lot to your teammates there. Sleepless Kind just being pummeled by all of this T1 bomber spam. And he's going to go up in smokes, take out the rest of them. The ASFs are too late to save him, unfortunately. And now we have a tie game, folks. It is 3v3. But again, there's a lot of repairs to be done on Team 2's side. It's almost like it's a 2v3 at this point. We have some gunships being built. We have an experimental built as well for the likes of the orange player Peanuts. Where is it? It shouldn't be that far off. Oh, it's over here. It is a chicken bot moving out of the water, looking to reclaim this center causeway. We have some battleships out from the orange player. They should be given over to one of these two play, like at least the purple player, because he's focusing on this eastern side. At least that's what I would do, because it's kind of hard to jump back and forth from both sides of the map. Pretty much give one guy air, one guy navy on the east side, one guy navy on the west side. Move battleships north. Well, I mean, you can, but you have some sub-hunters. You also have, like, RASCOMs. You have T1 frigate spam. Like, there's not a whole lot of defenses, but that's a lot of mass, and they could easily build up more and more ships if they wanted to. Huge amount of battleships. We got a huge amount of battleships over here. Now, how many is this? 15. I have the next one on the cards. Moving in. That's a lot of press. These two battle cruisers. We have 16 battleships under construction, online, and shelling all of that ordnance at their enemy navy. And again, we have a couple of battleships, but it's pretty much a 3-to-1, and they're going to be outnumbered pretty quick. It's not looking good for the naval game of Team 1, but the air is pretty much firmly in Team 2's control. I would like to see mass torpedo bomber, would like to see some more strat bomber raids, would like to see more and more effort in the air game, and it is starting to pretty much favor them, and they're starting to implement some more of that spam. We have two more chicken bots on the main causeway. These two are definitely going to defeat this one chicken. Is it going to be able to take out one of them, though? No. It's getting further enough away for that main death ball to not really be effective. It's going to be close. No, it dissipates too far away. It does get credit for helping take out that chicken and does rep up some hit points and is going to live to fight another day. And this is going to be pretty bad for Team 2. Team 1 now has control over the center causeway. So they pretty much have control of 2 of the 3 lanes for the most part. Team 2 is making inroads back on this eastern side. We are at 40 minutes, so I'm expecting to see maybe an experimental game ender on the cards. As I said, there is a Scathus under construction on this southeastern island. That's really a risk because it's very easy to shell that with Navy. But there is a battleship in defense hiding behind this little hillock. I hear more chickens. They're going down this little tiny causeway, a little way around the this little mountain. But no infrastructure on the center causeway. We have an experimental built in the back line. It's a bug. I haven't casted many games with a bug. Okay, you have 4 missiles, 4 anti-nukes. You don't need to prioritize anymore. Focus on other things. That's mass you could be funneling into literally anything else. Or just funnel into that Scathus and finish it faster. Did it stop production? It slowed down a little bit. That Navy out from Team 1, out from camp, pushing more and more closer to the main production yards of Team 2. We have an Atlantis under construction. Again, my favorite naval unit for the game. It's really cool. You can submerge it. It has good anti-air. Is a factory. It has decent amount of hit points. Again, it's just a very, very good unit. It just is. T3 gunships. These whalers out trying to take out these anti-air. It is going to slowly but surely kill because these are flak units, and they are designed to take out gunships or slow-moving targets, specifically like gunships. And a lot of them are going to go down. They are going to take out the rest of the T2 forces, but the chicken bots are definitely going to live to fight another day. We have that bug on the way, looking to maybe. I mean, I'd send it to take out these chickens. There's also a monkey lord on this side, not on this side, coming in to chase the chicken. It might catch the one closest to them, but the more damaged one is already in the water, pretty much making its way. This is going to be close, but it looks like this chicken bot is going to make it in the water as well. Again, it is going to be close. Let's check. Its legs are... Oh, it barely doesn't make it. Its body falls in the water, though. We have 2 more chicken bots in the water, looking to maybe move kind of undeterred in that water. That Atlantis does finish. Again, one of my favorite units in the game. At least the naval units, at least. And there it goes. It submerges, closes the hatches, and dive, dive, dive. Again, very good unit. The UEF can spam those out, and they do lots and lots of damage. These battleships would just be eaten alive. And speaking of battleships, the battleships of Peanuts are being eaten alive by the battleships out from camp. We have this gun, we have the bug gunship, the Soul Ripper, and look at the hit points start shredding off of that summit. We have some ASF support intel, that's very good to see. There aren't a lot of, I mean, there's a lot of ASF, but I mean, they aren't in position. It takes out one of the battleships. The battleships go like, no, 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 not giving you free damage, and pull back. The Atlantis moves up to support the front line, and looks like the ASF are gonna get into a fight, maybe, possibly, maybe. Cruisers move in to help take out that bug, and the ASF do engage. There is a fight. Looks like camp does have the advantage. The ASF are not in position for Team 2 to do any amount of damage, really, and are eaten alive. The purple player of Han Solo's air forces are also eaten alive with very little losses, and that is definitely going to hurt. Another experimental build. It's probably another chicken. No, it's a megalith. That'd be a good base defense, especially when you have multiple chickens on the way and a bunch of anti-air. Nothing else, just anti-air. Would like to see maybe some siege bots. Maybe we'd like to see even some Ilshis, just some more targets that can do damage back to anything. Oh, okay, he's going to position it. I was going to say, don't walk away. We do have a defense satellite out from camp as well, looking to take out these naval factory. Takes out one, is focusing on the HQ right now. That Atlantis says, no thank you, see you later, bye. And is going to just nope out of that situation. It is firing its torpedoes further and further back, so it can fire in different directions, which is very effective as long as obviously they're in range. They don't have to like have line of sight on target. I guess you have perfect line of sight if you can fire in all directions, so I guess that's fair. But I kind of like the wings. Oh, kind of like the wings on this design. As it, you know, looks almost like an aircraft underwater, which I'd kind of like to know the developer's inspiration for this ship. So, and like I said, it is a very good experimental build, especially if you're UEF and especially if you are Navy. So, again, got to use all the tools in the toolbox when you have them, because what's the point of not having it? The assault on the main base is begun. Looks like one chicken bot is down. It's going to pretty much take out that Monkey Lord. The Monkey Lord primaries the other chicken bot. Very good, because it's gonna just instantly evaporate. That Soul Ripper does go down, so that gunship is down and out. The second chicken is down, and that third chicken nopes out and returns back into the water in whence it came. How is that Scathers going? It is now still, it's still in the, oh, it doesn't even turn on all the things. It is not even in the green yet, not even 75% completed. Would like to see, like I said, a little more devotion to that experimental. It is a game changer, especially when a lot of the enemy base is not shielded. And you have some kind of over some PGens, but that's really about it. There's not a whole lot of shielding. Very effective. Oh, there's a Mavor and a T3 artillery online. Again, do not put everything all in one place. If a nuke goes off, and there's even a nuke, you have a nuke launcher, a satellite, a T3 arty, and then a Mavor. This is like the definition of upgrading, like building a house and then saying, oh, I'll just make a... I can't get a good shot of this. Building another house next to it, and then building another house next to that one. So, I mean, you got a decent amount of room. You can move this stuff around a little bit. Just... I just don't get it. I just don't get the logic. I mean, yeah, it's easier to shield, but it's only one place that the enemy has to fire at. So, might want to just move a little bit. Just that'd be my recommendation. Just move, just spread out a little bit. You have all this space. Just spread out a little bit. Anyway, do we have any counter artillery? We do not. Looks like it's maybe planned at some point. That Tsar is still... Oh, it's back here. We have T3 arty, about almost 3/4 of the way done for Peanuts. He is losing the naval game. That Atlantis has a rank and vet, is taking out a decent amount of the battleships, but it looks like it's kind of a losing battle here. Probably should have prioritized Atlantis production. That probably would have been more effective than this arty. I mean, you could deal with one artillery. Like, that's not the end of the world. Just shield, have overlapping shields for a little bit. I mean, yeah, they're getting more fire rate on that artillery, but I mean, it's not the end of the world. That Mavor will be the end of the world, unfortunately. It is a game ender after all. Don't see any plans out from PDM to do much of anything besides build up his air grid and just shield it. This force of T3 units, especially these battleships, are very scary. At least for Team 2, especially with all of these cruisers and all of their missiles. They need to get TAC missile defense, and they are up and running. They are getting volcanoes out from the Aeon player. These are the most effective at taking out or dealing with these T2 tactical missiles. They pretty much fire up little balls and they distract multiple targets. They're like flares, but for multiple missiles, so very effective. Which I guess you could use flares for multiple missiles as well. But anyway, not the point. That T3 arty is now finished. Well, I guess it's going to prioritize the other T3 arty. Scathis is now in the green. It's now in the green for Team 2. And lots of torpedoes. The games I've been cast, 150. That beats the amount I casted a couple days ago. Of the max amount on the field at once. Just so much air. Yeah, pretty much Team 2's hope is that Scathis, and I wouldn't be surprised. Does Team 1 even know about it? No, they don't even know about it. They they do know about it now. That those torpedo bombers, they were able to get a good readout on that. GG, well played. Yeah, it looks like the player of Peanuts, may be starting to give up. Kind of knows what the writing is on the wall. The Tsar isn't really close to being finished. We have, again, that artillery primary, that we have a satellite, we have a missile launcher that has a nuke in it. Still hasn't been launched yet. Very annoying. Mavor's already half done. I wouldn't be surprised if that priorities the Scathis at some point. Torpedo bombers, not effective on land, but, you know, nothing about. Maybe the nuke is waiting for that SMD to be taken out, and it's close. Those shots keep hitting pretty close to it, so we'll see. We have a chicken on the way. This is not good. No defenses online, not prioritizing any point defense, and this chicken's just gonna say hi to this arty and just say goodbye. It was nice to meet you. Takes out the Tsar that was under construction. Gets in close. Takes out a shield generator, sits on top of those P-gens, takes out 1, takes out 2, takes out 3, takes out that artillery, prioritizing these air production factories, takes out that artillery under construction as well. There is a desync, unfortunately, but you can again see the writing on the wall. Camp says GG, well played. He knows the writing on the wall. There is the Scathis being built, and again the comm of PDM does pretty much leave. Thank you so much for watching. And it is sad to see that that desync happened kind of late into the game, but again the writing was pretty much on the wall here on this western side, and once that fell, that island of the Scathis was not going to last very long. So again, yeah, the match probably could have gone on for at least a couple more minutes, but at the end of the day, everyone could pretty much see the writing on the wall. So it just goes to show you that even if you do build a game ender, you might not win the match. Just to point out, and that Mavor was almost done too. So it wasn't really looking good for Team 2 after about, I'd say, the 40-ish minute mark. So again, thank you so much for watching. There's another chicken. There's a monkey lord and a chicken. So yeah, wasn't really going to work out for Team 2. But again, thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate all the love, the support, the eyeballs, the time, anything and everything everyone's been doing. I greatly appreciate it. And again, I'm almost close to 100. Once I hit that 100 sub mark, go ahead and submit your idea for the next cast you'd like to see, whether it be a type of map or type of game. Just any idea that you have, please send it to me. If a map gets a particularly number of votes, or like last time, if only one person voted, they kind of automatically win. So if no one else votes, or if no one else submits anything, you might just win by default. So go ahead and submit something. And again, like I said, I'm kind of rambling here now. But again, thank you so much for watching. I greatly appreciate it, and I will see you all in the next one.